But what about the regular people? If you're a waiter, if you're a teacher, if you're like a hairdresser, if you're like whatever, do you have to be super spiritual? You have to like levitate.
Yeah, let me handle it.
Okay.
So first, there is no being on the planet that's more spiritual than any other being. It's not possible
Mm-hmm.
because remember, spirit is a nothingness which can create something. So it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have like a. It's not like this spirit is more higher than this spirit. That's totally physical universe where you have differences. So all beings are equally spiritual. The only thing that changes is do you realize your spirit? Do you realize that you're a spirit, or do you think that you're something else? Do you have false identities? This is the only thing that changes.
So this question is really interesting. So because I know some of your past, like you were many things. So one of them you were like a great singer. So how how do you get involved in yoga?
Yeah, so I was born with a deep inclination towards studying the spiritual arts.
Okay.
I've always been like this. I was fascinated by meditation and mind science since before I could talk. I just knew it. It's always been there. And
Mm-hmm.
then I began studying yoga and meditation as before I could read. My father practiced yoga, and so I
Oh
absorbed.
really?
Mhm, mhm. So
Wow.
I grew up with it very early, and I absorbed it. But the truth is that it comes from another lifetime. It's the knowledge that I have is not things I learned here because they're there. It's not like I read a book and I'm like, oh, let me teach you this. I just know.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Okay.
know. Yeah, I can look at your body. I can look at your energy. I can look at your soul. I can look at your soul migration. I can know. And this is it's not something I learned from a book. It's a realization of the spirit coming into this world. And I know that sounds like a little bit like, what the hell? This crazy lady thinking. Yeah, but this is what everybody is. Everybody is,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole practice of yoga is just letting go of the things which you are not. So I have been involved in yoga and martial arts since my early childhood. I started studying martial arts at 10, soft
Oh
style.
wow.
Mhm. And then I've studied for 30 years, many different styles.
Yeah, I remember that your mom was vegetarian also.
Yes.
Right, like you, oh, duh, you chose those parents.
And I chose, and I'm actually here in the home right now where I was born, and I'm building, remodeling a studio right now. So I'll be able to host people and have everything here. And it's super beautiful. Like I wish I could take you outside with me, Gustavo. But I
Hmm.
grew up in just a very special environment.
I
But
know you have.
also, my inclination was toward this because I have five brothers and sisters, and none of them are yogis.
Uh-huh.
So it was me that wanted this, and I've never given up. And it's part of the reason why I know the things I do, but it's also why I've met the amazing teachers that I have because you seek them out.
And what does your family think of you? Like, do they think you're crazy, or you know how it is with our families. When we do something, everybody has something to say. We shouldn't care about it, but they're our family. Or do they think highly of you, or like
My
both?
family, they love me. They love me because of course because I know how to communicate with people
Mm-hmm.
and because I know how to be with them. Part of understanding yoga is how to be with people, how to not be with them and make them wrong, how to make them beautiful, how to remind them of their own true nature. So you apply
Mm-hmm.
this to everybody, your family included.
Well, that's the most difficult. Your family, friends, and especially your loved ones, your relationships. When you can apply all these principles to them, then you're a true yogi.
I have great relationships with everyone in my family. There isn't a special. I know. It's crazy because I decide. I create those relationships and
Of
I
course.
handle what needs to be handled. So if there's an issue, Yeah, I know how to handle it.
I know you do. Yeah. Okay, so tell me about your school. How did you get into the material you teach? Like, like you teach specific in a specific way. And why is it considered one of the best in the world? I mean, because it is. I mean, I asked around, and you're one of the best regarded Westerners teachers.
Yeah, so the reason is because I teach people in a way where they know and they don't require me. So I actually teach them the essence of the system. So for instance, if you learn to teach yoga through my school, you don't memorize a sequence, you learn to create sequences. At no point do I ever have you memorize anything. It's always understanding, and it's based on you having your own viewpoint. And you asking the question, what effect do I want to create in my own body or in somebody else's? And so at first this is hard for people. They're like, what? No, there's like this whole reorganization of the furniture in their head.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what? No, just give me a sequence. I just want to memorize it. And I never do. And so the end result of that process that I take people through is like, we just graduated our 200-hour online training. They create sequences. They know how to teach. They know how to teach, and they don't have any poses memorized. They know how to create poses, and that is super valuable, because most trainings, not because the teacher is bad or ill-intentioned, because they don't know what I know. If you don't know what I know, you don't know how you're going to teach people to create yoga poses. You can break them down. They're all memorized. So the training in what I teach is completely different from what's taught in most schools, not because other schools are bad, because they don't know what I know. I'm happy to teach them. If anyone's seeing this and you want to know how to teach sequence design or pose building, contact me. It's not complicated, but it will require you to take on a much more responsible viewpoint. I make responsible teachers that know how to walk into a room, look at who's in there and say, okay, I know what to do. That's what I teach. And that's not something you can memorize, because every person, every group, every moment, every culture you go to needs something different. And if you see that, if all you are is a parrot, if you can't create something new, you're not a real yogi. So what I create is people that are responsible, and they're not parroting me. They're actually able to look on their own. And we have an intense curriculum. Our standards are really high. So you're basically creating sequences, creating kramas, creating practices, and you have to submit it to me. You submit, and you submit, and you submit. And you learn to actually just do it. It becomes second nature. It's not like a drama. You're just like, another sequence, no problem, Rae. Oh, I got to do this. You get tons of teaching practice. You really know. And because I really care. And that's the thing, is that I want people that graduate from my school to come out and know how to succeed in the world, not just take their money and be like, well, here's a certificate. I hope it works out. I care. And because I care, I keep improving my curriculum as well. Every year it's a different course. It's never the same. We get better every year.
Oh, so, wow.
And I have my students, my graduates are amazing. And I have so much respect for them, because to make it through my program, you have to really want to know. Because I'm not gonna just be like, it's fine. You have to care. You have to be of a sincere heart. And I have amazing teachers. I also work with Alex Isayev, who's amazing teacher. So he teaches in my programs.
I never heard. What is the name?
My blonde protege, Alex. From
the Russian guy?
Yeah, his parents.
Of course, I know him.
Alex, yes. He's amazing. He's on Mondays, a therapeutic class. So you should check it out.
I might. Where do you see yoga in general failing in this world right now? We have to say this because if it wasn't for them, we couldn't do what we do. This video is brought to you by Gustavo Briand Studio, where hair for ladies and gentlemen becomes high art, located in the heart of Miami Beach, Florida, and Sultry Eyes Lash Studio, dedicated to bring out the goddess out of every woman, now located inside Gustavo Briand Studio. The Brian siblings, doing their best work together. If you are in the area of Miami Beach, please check the website, book your appointment. The website is here below, and let's get this started. And South Beach Charity Angels. South Beach Charity Angels is our own charity, and it operates here in Miami, Florida. If you want to know more, read the website. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, the main thing that I see happening is that people don't have much clarity as to what yoga, meditation, pranayama are, and that the lineages have been degraded. So the teachers are not, they haven't had the results of their practice, and they're teaching and they're changing teachings without understanding the essence. So the Yoga Alliance has really degraded yoga because the qualifications needed to teach are only 200 hours of study, which is, not very much for something that changes all of humanity. You need a couple of years at the very least to really know. You have to be immersed in it. And so what I see happening is that people graduate with a 200-hour, which is great. If you had a good education, it's great, but they stop. And then instead of really learning more, they just create what they think works, and it doesn't. And so now we see that there's a degradation and an unclarity. Like, for instance, if you ask people what chakras are, yeah, they'll tell you all kinds of weird things, none of which are accurate. I haven't had an accurate explanation of chakras in a long time. If you ask me, well, what is meditation? I'll be like, well, it's being relaxed or chill. It's this, and it's a peaceful and sitting still. And it's like, no, none of that is what the purpose of meditation or what meditation is. So you have this massive unclarity.
I love you. Okay.
Even there's disagreement over all of the things. So here's how you check if it's working. You look at the lives, the results, the joy, the facial expression, the experience of being around the teachers who claim it. Like, just spend a day with them and see, how do you feel? Are they fun? If they're not joyous, if they're not amazing, yoga didn't work. If their relationships in their life are all a mess, yoga's not working. Mm-hmm. If they're, so you have to actually look and say, what's happening with the teacher? What do they create?
So I have another question that is not here. So what about the hot yoga thing? Like, I don't know anything about yoga. I'm learning, like, all these viewers, but I heard people, they go into these like big ovens per se, and then just practice yoga there. That horrifies me. Like, I would never want to do that, but some people do actually enjoy it. I know there is experiences for everyone, but what the hell is that? Hellish sounds good, but it might not be. It might be heaven for others.
Well, so what happens with hot yoga is that you superheat the body. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have a detox effect. So something.
Okay.
Yeah, like a sauna, which is a beneficial thing. Mm-hmm. The challenge with hot yoga is that a lot of the positions are putting a lot of force into the ligaments, so the connective things. A ligament is what connects bone to bone. Mm-hmm. When that has force in it and the ligament stretches, it creates a destabilization of the skeletal system.
Wait, a destabilization of what?
Of the bone. So what?
Of the skeleton.
Yeah, because the ligaments, specifically in the knees and other areas, become overstretched just because of the nature of the pose. Now, there are some times when a heated room makes sense for certain bodies and certain postures. People that are, where the fascia is really tight, or specific sports where we're trying to work with something. But in general, a heated room, you're supposed to build the heat internally, which there's many different ways to do. Mm-hmm. So these hot yogas, while they create an intense effect, after a couple of months, you'll see that it depletes the person. They'll start to get very depleted of their, there's this kind of thing called ojas in Ayurveda. It's like it's an essence of the body. This becomes depleted from too much heat and the extreme movements. And then you get some ligament injuries. So overall, I wouldn't recommend it. And the other issue is that most hot yoga rooms don't have fresh air. So they lock the windows and they heat the room and there's no airflow. So now you have people exhaling all of this into a room and there's no airflow. So
So it's
you
like doing yoga with a mask, but the mask is shared with everybody.
exactly. You're breathing the exhales or the impurities which are being released into the air from these practices from everybody else. And so it's very unsanitary.
Yes, I'm a big no for air poop. No, thank you. But anyway, but there's a lot of people that love this. I mean, I see them drenched, walking around the street, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I just came out of like with that kind of yoga." I'm like, "Good for you." Anyway,
Best is you just do a sauna and a steam room in a clean environment, and then do a yoga practice and learn to build heat internally.
got it. So, is there a message that you have in general for yoga instructors that you would like to say? The people that didn't go through your school, besides the obvious that come to my school. No, I'm just joking now. But I mean, is there any? I'm sure you would love to say something too.
There's a lot that needs to be said, but the
I
main
know, but whatever you're feeling or your spirit wants to I
there's
leave it to you.
there's a word in Sanskrit called abhyasa, and what
Mm-hmm.
the word means is it's the quality of don't give up, don't surrender. Yeah, it has to do with spiritual persistence in the physical universe. Yeah, you must be persistent to change this world. And it doesn't mean effort, but people can do hard things, but you must be persistent. And the biggest thing that I want to say to the community, the most important thing is to find this never giving up quality and allow it to become stable in your beingness. So find the stability of your spiritual persistence, and this will carry you through everything. And then the second thing I would love to say is stop being haters, guys. Learn to see the beauty, learn to put beauty in the
Stop
world.
being what?
Haters,
Oh,
haters.
haters. Okay.
Stop tearing apart other people. Unless you acknowledge that that's what you're doing and you're going to play that game, don't make it a habit. Learn to see the good, learn to see the beauty, learn to admire even things that you totally think you disagree with. It's only a consideration. So learn to actually see the beauty in the world, have some spiritual stability and persistence.
Mm-hmm. Interesting message. The last one, and that's for everybody.
Well, of course,
Yeah,
because
but still, but it was mainly for the community. And this is our last question. What would you like to say to people that after seeing this video are learning towards starting yoga and are afraid and might go to a beginner's class and then it's too advanced or whatever, is this really, I mean, the question, I don't know if I asked you that question, but it was about, what about people is out of shape? What about people that they know they cannot bend and put their legs behind their head? Or what about the people is not spiritual? Like, do you have to be like a guru, like to be a yoga, practice yoga? Because there is the two conceptions, right? The one that is like, you are this like wealthy housewife that you have so much time to your disposal, and one of your recreations are to challenge to flex your body and use all this fancy, expensive yoga clothing. And the other one is that you're like the Dalai Lama or whatever, and you're this high monk that that because of that you have to do it. But what about with the regular people? If you're a waiter, if you're a teacher, if you're like a hairdresser, if you're like whatever, do you have to be super spiritual? You have to like levitate?
yeah, let me handle it.
Okay.
So first, there is no being on the planet that's more spiritual than any other being. It's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, spirit is a nothingness which can create something. So it doesn't have like it's not like this spirit is more higher than this spirit. That's totally a physical universe where you have differences. So all beings are equally spiritual. The only thing that changes is do you realize your spirit? Do you realize that you're a spirit, or do you think that you're something else? Do you have false identities? This is the only thing that changes. And so whether you're a waiter, a hairdresser, a housewife, a CEO, or a guru, you're not it's not possible to be more spiritual than anything else. This is totally a funny idea that's not true. Every being is equally spiritual. It's just some have more dense layers that they think are them. It has to do with the identification, what you think you are. And the practice of yoga is this practice of you realizing your own true nature. And that has nothing to do with the position or the post or the role you play in the world.
Right. And what about these people, for example, they're, overweight, or they will feel, I mean, I'm not overweight that I know of, and and I'm still embarrassed to go to a yoga class because I know I'm gonna look different than everybody else.
Come to my online classes. Come to me.
Oh, okay.
Come to me. Come to me. Go to my students. My students don't. They all know the body is just a body. It's just a body. It changes.
Right.
There's no problem, or not. It's fine as it is. It's not.
And how can we find teachers that you have trained? For example, like, is there a glossary that we can access online?
Yeah, you have to write me and let me know the country you're in, and then I can recommend. Or I am slowly, as I'm building out my platform, we're going to be putting more of our graduates on the platform. But you can just write to me. I'm very easy to contact on social media. Rae Indigo Yoga on Instagram. And on Facebook, my email is Rae Indigo, RAEINDIGO @gmail. It's not a problem at all to contact me, and I'll just recommend somebody that's near you that's a graduate, or recommend something online. Come to our people, because they don't mind anybody. We're trained totally different. A body is just a body. We can change it, leave it alone, create the effect that you want. It's your body and has nothing to do with your spirituality.
Okay, very good answer. So, and then of course, it's customary for me to, as you're speaking, we're gonna put your website, we're gonna put some imagery, we're gonna put how to contact you and all that stuff. So all I have to say, Miss Rae, is that thank you for taking the time today to explain to us simple mortals how, to have an understanding of yoga and all that stuff, because I thought it was time, and if it was time for me, it was time for, many other people, massive amount of people that will probably watch this video. So thank you so much, and probably I'll see you in your hometown. I just had, when you were talking, I wasn't present because my creative mind was making up how am I gonna make this happen with you and your hair and all that stuff. So I have an idea. We'll talk afterwards. I think it's a great idea, and I will need your help. But anyway, so thank you so much, and everybody, don't lose or miss our next video. It's gonna be fun. And thank you, Rae, for everything.
Namaste, Gustavo.
Namaste to you too. Talk to you soon. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. That's clicking on the little bell. Comment all you want. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like.
Don't forget to subscribe to grow the community.
And also, don't forget to follow our social media. And if you want to go ahead and share this video in all your platforms, share the love. Till next time!
Bye!